people buy the stickers, buy prints, buy T-shirts, but all of that is just meaningless. But it's just the interaction, just people enjoying the show. So thank you. Have you guys been here since the beginning of the movie? Or the documentary? It wasn't intended for that. I'm going to sit right here because I don't want to throw in there.
I feel kind of strange being so far away from you guys, so we're just going to come right up to it.
We're nervous. We don't need this.
Don't
you can
be,
hear me just
don't
fine,
be,
right?
yeah.
I'm putting that down, so screw that.
So welcome to our live edition of Grimm Up All Night
Yeah.
in the middle of the afternoon.
Basically, when we do live Grimm Up All Nights, it's just like this. And
Just
we're
like
sitting
this.
on our couch and we're doing live.
But we're in
a hotel
pajamas.
room.
It's just like this with no makeup,
Yeah.
pajamas, food everywhere around me. You guys know that. I'm an eater.
And I'm going to call him out. This is Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Bob has been
Hello.
in a lot of
Hi,
our
Bob.
Grimm Up All Nights. If you don't know what that is, do you guys know?
Yes.
Okay, you don't? You've been in the chat rooms at all?
I have.
Yeah.
I haven't been in the chat room.
You
We
haven't?
watch it on YouTube, but we don't have the chat going.
Okay.
We're watching
Oh, yeah, no, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes we end up doing a lot of, like, informational bits because other people don't know how to work it. It's like, you got to click this, you know, when you go in and all that stuff. And most people think we know where they're in there, but unless you talk, we don't see any names. Like, it's not like a list you can scroll down and go, oh, such and such arrived and such and such. There's none of that. Not like the old school AOL chat rooms. I know I'm showing my age, but unless somebody literally says hi in the group, we don't know who's there. So we just say hello, Grimm family, because that's what you guys are. You are our family.
The Gremlins.
The Gremlins.
The Gremlins.
It was voted on. That's what you're called now. You're called the Gremlins. Yeah.
All right, have a good night. No, seriously.
This is the most personal meet and greet ever.
Yeah,
This
right?
is awesome.
Just you guys.
Completely.
Yeah.
This is even better than
So if you
Patreon.
guys have questions,
I-
we're so happy to answer.
I feel so weird because I don't feel like we belong up here. Do you
Why?
know what I mean? And like when we're coming down to Orlando because her family lives here. And
Hi, Mom.
and I have a recording back there too.
Hi, Mom.
And we reached out to Fantasm Orlando about coming down and doing their press because we were down here for their very first year. And then also in that email I snuck in, I was like, look, how do we become guests as well? And then almost immediately they're like, oh my God, we love what you do. We'd love to have you there. And you know, they gifted us the little things. And
I left mine at home, so we're sharing.
Yeah. And so it means the world. Like as a horror kid growing up, doing something like this, like I was just telling you guys, I think, downstairs, being able to do this full time and going to horror conventions and being able to stand next to icons from your favorite movies.
All the legends.
And being able to interview them and say, hey, I have this channel, and I'm not a fan of his music, but Corey Taylor from Slipknot, he's from Slipknot, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love Corey.
Okay, you know who he is.
So
Stone Sour also.
Stone Sour. Supposedly, I like Stone Sour more than Slipknot.
I love Stone Sour.
And we met Corey Taylor in Las Vegas at Days of the Dead, and I walked up to him and I said, first off, I'd like to apologize. And he looked at me weird, and I thought...
He's just waiting for something odd.
Yeah, waiting for something. And I said, because I used your song, well, your cover of a song in one of our videos. And he said, which one?
Acoustic.
Yeah, it was an acoustic version that he did on
Tom Petty.
Tom Petty, but on a radio show. And I used it on the Tom Petty, Gainesville, Florida, where he grew up. And I told him, I apologize because you're not getting any money from it. Like, I'm reaping all the rewards. I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
It
but
wasn't
deal
like,
with it.
yeah.
And he looked at me and he thought for a second. He's like, I know you. And I was like, what?
Beg your pardon.
Corey Taylor knows me? And he's like, I seen that video. I really enjoyed it. I love your show. And I was like, oh my God. You know, it's pretty wild as a horror kid growing up. That being
But
said,
even more for me, like getting to stand next to, you know, Jason, standing next to Michael Myers, standing next to, you know, all the, what do you call them? Not the last girls, the
final girls.
The final girls. And then, you know, in the sense that we're doing that, and then we get to meet you guys who are like, we love your channel. It's like, aw. It's like, so these are our little movies, more like home movies to us, you know, because it's just our passion. But I guess we kind of do documentaries in a way, but we've never really seen it like that until people are like, oh, you're the documentary guys. We're like,
The what?
Technically, yeah, I suppose we are, but that wasn't like how we didn't venture out going, we're going to be documentarians.
To be
However that word is.
fair,
Yeah.
I've
It was
always
just a
wanted to be a
passion.
documentarian. I guess you would
Yeah.
say that. I went to
I wanted to be
Pittsburgh.
an archaeologist.
I went to Pittsburgh Filmmakers, and I graduated from there in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So every time we make a video, and she'll attest to this, sometimes I get really
Nerdy?
edgy if I'm not getting the scene right, or the audio's
Yeah.
off, or the whatever, because I see this as like a storytelling, like an art form, even if
Yes.
it's just on YouTube.
Absolutely.
You know, to me, it's telling the story of our life. So.
True. And it's the whole the process of lining up a shot. I think we talked to all of you guys so far. I know you're our newest one from today, but about how lining up shots, you can't just like, I mean, you can go up there and just, click, hi,
Oh my gosh.
and and take a picture, but like, we literally talk about our viewers almost every single video we make. We're interested in how, well, we love movies. Obviously, all you guys love movies, and we love the same types of movies. It's like, you know what? This area reminds me of that movie. You know what? They shot it like this angle. Oh, we should do that. They're gonna get a kick out of it. Let's see if anybody notices. And you guys do. And we love it. And it makes our day, that you go, oh my God, you put these little tidbits in and it made our day. And we're like, because you caught that made our day, And that's how we just love this. It's my family. Group hugs. Group hugs.
We have a joke, like an ongoing joke that we say on the road. We call it the Lost Boys number 3. And of course, when you start doing things for so long, you start ongoing jokes like bad booty. Everybody here know why we
bad
say bad
booty.
booty? Anybody? It's the lurking roommate in the back.
Hi, roommate.
You're still in the back.
Hi,
Move
Peter,
forward.
I'm still lurking.
So does anybody know what Lost Boys number 3 is?
Didn't they make it, or they were gonna make it?
No, not the movie, like in
Oh.
our videos.
Oh, no.
So
I still don't know.
I'm the only person. It's my
forgettable.
secret. Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Leave it that
I
way.
don't think you've actually told me this one. Sometimes
you'll
in your
get it.
head. Okay.
So, when we were doing the Lost Boys filming location video in Santa Cruz, we're lining up shots.
Mhm.
And when you watch a movie, you enjoy it, you grow up with it, you enjoy it. And when you start picking it apart scene by scene to match it up, you have a newfound respect.
Movie
to the movie,
magic.
right?
Oh, it's our favorite thing ever is movie magic.
So there's one scene on the Santa Cruz boardwalk, and of course it's been repainted, obviously. But there was this one scene where Jason Patrick, is following Star down the boardwalk, and he sees her get on David's motorcycle,
Yes.
and they're getting ready to drive away.
Yes.
And the camera real quickly shows Jason Patrick, and behind him on the wall in the distance you can see a number 3 because it's entrance number 3 to the thing. I didn't notice it, but she did. That it's the same number 3, the same design, and the same exact placement of that movie, and it's still here. And it's real quick. So when you go back and watch it, you'll see it.
Yeah.
But we have this thing where at any time, whenever we find, at least I guess maybe I do, but anytime we find something that's tiny and minuscule in a scene, I call it the Lost Boys number 3.
Okay, I understand you now.
Okay.
Yes, you do say this. But
Like, it's
the
the
way
number
that you
3.
said it, I thought you were talking about like Lost Boys
The
3,
third
the
movie?
movie, like the third movie, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
No.
But now I do, yeah, because I'm one of those people, and so is he. He remembers the really big things sometimes and the small things that I never see regarding an actor. But I'm one of those person that's like, that lamp post looks exactly like, hold on, pause. I'll be damned.
There it is.
And there you go. And then from there you go, wow, okay, so this has been repainted. This is exactly the same, but that's been repainted. But if you shoot it from this angle, it looks completely different. It looks like it's a full wall. It's not a full wall because from height, it's a half wall. But if you're shooting it from the ground, it looks like a full wall, and then you miss the carousel because it's covered now, and so much. And I mean, just the movie magic is how we fall in love with everything. It's the movie magic, and just go, oh, that's how they did that. Oh my God, I can't believe. And then you're like, wow, I'm standing on the spot that the actor stood, that the director stood, and you're going, never in my life did I think I'd be here. never in my life that I think I'd be touching the soil of Lost Boys, of all of our favorite movies.
You weren't with me when I did the Dracula filming location, 1932.
No,
And
I couldn't do the climbing.
but there was this one scene, the opening scenes of Dracula. Todd Browning directed it, Bela Lugosi, we all know that. But the opening scenes of the movie is the stagecoach driving up to the castle. Well, a lot of people think that that scene wasn't actually filmed by Todd Browning for that movie, because at the time there was a lot of like drugstore cowboy western movies being made in Hollywood. So they think that that stagecoach scene was from something else, and they
Or
just
paint
bought it and
background
put it in
kind of
there.
thing.
But through some extensive research, we found that there is a little path through what's called Vasquez Rocks, just north of Los Angeles, where they filmed like Star Trek and Bill and Ted and Flintstones was all filmed there. But if you stand just right on this rock in the background, everything lines up.
With the sun at 30 degrees
Yeah.
while you're holding a full pocket watch. Yeah.
And I remember standing there and with the camera looking at this and going, man, like back in the 30s,
Yeah.
this scene from like one of the greatest Universal monster movies took place right here. You know, it blows my mind.
I'm gonna say this, and on camera,
Uh-oh.
you were like the horror Indiana Jones,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
right?
wanna witness.
It was like
And that is awesome.
the
That
sun
really
would have hit
is.
this golden plate at 12:02 exactly in the afternoon, because we talk about that too. The lighting changes so much during the day that you're going, okay, I went out at noon, no dice. The sun is blaring in your face. But if we go out at like 5:15.
The golden hour.
Right before we have only like 10 minutes, you better get in the car because I'm not playing. Yeah. And by the way, we do ramble because we're passionate. We love to talk to you guys and tell you guys stories. So if you have any questions, feel free to interject. Feel free to shoot us comments. You know, like this is what we love. We love reading your comments, and we try to get back to as many people as we can. But, you know, we're here for you guys. Does anybody have a question yet?
Yeah, I do.
Shoot.
What goes into choosing your locations? Like, how do you make those decisions? Like, how much research do you do to figure out where you want to go?
I would say the first process and foremost is just the love of something.
Yeah.
Because that's how you're aware of whatever it is first, and you're going, man, how did they do that scene? I wonder, where was that filmed? You know, and then it kind of goes from there, I think. And he has like one of those, you ever see Megamind, the cartoon? Giant head guy?
Yeah.
That's him.
I know my
mean
forehead's
that-
big.
No, I mean that because his knowledge is unending about films. And I mean, I'm kind of like Rain Man about some things, but like, he's kind of got a computer brain where like, he's got this long list.
I take great pleasure in planning road trips
Yeah.
that may or may not ever happen.
To the minute.
I have on my Google Maps, I have road trips planned all over the world, not just the United States, where if someday I ever go there, one day I should say, one day I ever go there, when I go there, I'll say that, when we go there. edit.
Okay, yeah.
I know what's there, and it's constantly being added to. When we decided to move from Orlando to California, we got a lot of hate mail for it. And we're the least political people in the world. For what we do, it made the most sense to move to Los Angeles. Like, we live right in the heart of Hollywood, and right outside our door is the apartment where Bela Lugosi lived and died. You know, I could spit on his home. I'm not going to, but it's there.
Vampira is like
Yeah.
just a couple blocks down.
And somebody got a lot of hate mail, and some people said, why are you going out there? It's already been done. So many people have made a video on this, and we've said to ourselves, well, we've never done it.
Right.
We've never seen it. At the core of Grimm Life, it's just,
Well, plus things constantly change. So
Yes.
somebody did a video 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Your video has something new about there. So it's amazing, that content.
And especially as technology grows, now we can take it to you in 4K, high def and stuff.
and taking that mindset, well before somebody even said that to me, but taking that mindset, think of it like that, we're always trying to figure out, okay, how can we tell this story, but add another layer to it? Which is why you'll see videos like Anton Yelchin, where his grave and also where he died. Or when we're going to Sleepy Hollow in about a week and a half. And everybody goes there and they show the old burying ground. Well, we track down, if you remember the story, in the tavern when they're telling ghost stories and Ichabod's getting scared, that ghost story is about a rock that's haunted. Well, the rock that Washington Irving based it off of, we found that rock. So we're going to go there and talk
Awesome.
about it. I got goosebumps.
Awesome.
So it's like, everybody wants to go see the Statue of Liberty. When I do my research, I'm more concerned what's behind it, that
The
everybody's
history.
missing.
Yeah.
You know? So that's how I do it.
Mhm.
Perfect example, when we went to Dallas, Texas, everybody assumed that we were going to be doing JFK. Instead, we fleshed out the lives of Bonnie and Clyde as much as we possibly could. So where they went to school, where they worked when they met each other, you know, that was more interesting to
I think
us.
that took us through like 3 states to finish that video. Or I think we broke it up, but like telling their story wasn't just in one area, one town. It was across all the
Yeah.
states because, I mean, if you guys have seen the videos, they're not buried together. You know, I think they're buried in different states, and
Same
then a lot of
state,
stuff happens.
same
Or is it the
city,
same
just
state?
different. Yeah. I'm very long-winded. I
We
can't
are.
just give a
Yeah.
direct answer.
No.
Well, I think that's the good thing about your videos, actually. I think, you're very knowledgeable about the places that you guys present and, great speaking ability and just, all the details and everything that you guys.
Yes, the whole package.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah,
you know,
the passion,
It's like-
like I told you
the,
earlier, your passion for it is what got me. And I mean, there's plenty, like you said, of people doing what you're doing, but
Yeah.
your videos are the most enjoyable to me. to watch.
Absolutely,
Just because you guys are more,
absolutely.
Same.
it's like we're
Passionate.
there with you, kind
Yeah.
of. That makes
Like
sense.
we're excited to
Yeah.
see it so badly.
Your attention to
And-
Make them so
detail.
personal.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is. It's a personal
Right.
experience, you know. It's like going on vacation. You take the whole family, you pack them into a car, and you go, okay, kids, let me tell you why this is important to Dad. You know, because they're going,
Big
why
head
are we
mega
here?
mind dad over here.
Yeah. It's okay, I still
That's
love
why
it.
hats never fit
I
me.
still
It's too big.
Well, see, I'm the same way with filming locations and all that, so, I get how you feel about it and about the movies and,
it builds.
it's,
I want to say it's something that builds you from your childhood, but it continues into adulthood. It's a passion.
Right.
We're in the age of, I keep saying technology because, most of the stuff we talked about the other day, the nostalgia for a lot of films and why they don't work as being redone today is that it was a completely different setting when you were in your house, when the only electronic thing was your boxed TV. Usually it was built into like a dresser, right? The old school ones. You didn't even have remotes yet. You had to touch the thing to put, you had to wait for like ABC or whatever to play it, commercial and all that, but you'd be sitting there as a youngster or a teenager or whatever, close to the screen, probably while your family's asleep or gone, and you're in the house alone and pitch dark. It was an ambiance. It wasn't just because, oh, this was a great movie. Yes, they were, but like the whole setting really sets the tone for how you're going to remember a movie and why it scared you.
Yeah.
Like I've watched movies that I've just thought they were amazing. The gore was great. The special effects were cool. And then I watched it alone by myself at night in the middle of pitch blackness and went, I think I'll turn some lights on.
We'll watch a movie, and if it's a good one, like I fall asleep. Like I'm constantly busy. I'm constantly on the go.
Yeah.
Constantly. That whenever it's time to go to sleep and I put my head hits the pillow, I'm out.
Out.
I
Gone.
can't even last 10 minutes into a movie. I'm gone. And then the next morning, occasionally after she watches a scary movie, she'll tell me, I had such a hard time sleeping last night. I had turned off all the lights and I had to run to bed. I had to go to the bathroom. I had to run across the room. I was so scared. And
Remember that one time you woke up and you didn't understand why our bedroom door was locked?
yeah, she locked the bedroom door one night.
And what was I watching?
Oh God, I don't remember the Flintstones.
No, it was
Oh, great
it
story.
was American Horror Story Roanoke.
Oh yeah.
Because I hadn't seen it, and I heard like mixed reviews, and I was like, well, you have to watch it for yourself to see if you're gonna like it. So I did. Well, he's passed out, all the lights are off, and I watched probably like the whole season, and I don't know what part got me, but at one point I was like, what's that sound in the hallway? You know, I'm just gonna, just to make sure, I'm gonna lock the door. You know, like maybe, I don't think I'm a paranoid personality, maybe a little bit, but it was the setting. I can watch it today and not be freaked out at all, but like, it's the environment and how worked up you get yourself, and then you're just kind of like, if you can get pulled into it, you really are there. You know, you can smell it, you can hear the crunching of the leaves, or you know, whatever the situation is, or you think there's some giant shape possibly in your closet waiting for you with a butcher knife, you know. For me especially, like what got me growing up for environments was that anybody have sliding glass doors? Those giant sliding glass doors. Usually you didn't have curtains, you didn't have blinds, so it's just a massive window, right? So in the middle of the night, if you're down in whatever room watching, it's pitch blackness from that massive uncovered window. It is the most unsettling thing ever. Do not watch a horror movie in that, because I freaked myself out every time. Every time. And it would usually be a movie I didn't even care about, I thought was stupid or something. And then I'd be like, I'm gonna go turn some lights on, I think, because you know what, it's just a little dark in here. I can't really, maybe I'll sell the toe, I don't know, but no, I'm scared. I've scared myself. And that's just part of the fun, you know, reliving that and then bringing it to you guys.
Absolutely.
Good question.
I got a question.
Go for it.
Have you ever had the perfect shot, the perfect settings, the perfect time, everything is right, and something screws it up, like a person or a noise or something, and you just get mad and you'll never get that shot again? Has that ever happened to you? I mean...
Okay. Tom Savini video that all right, we left Orlando and we drove up to Pittsburgh. And
It's okay, I'm here to support you.
It was an amazing video, by the way.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
we're driving up to Pittsburgh. We stop and we film the Conjuring house.
From the movie.
From the movie. And then we go to Baltimore and we visit Edgar Allan Poe's grave and a couple other graves and like all this stuff. We have this amazing trip going up there. We get to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I'm from, and we got a new camera. Because for a while we were filming on our phone. I don't know where this is. I hope so. And we're in the room. We're relaxing. We just got into town, and I'm looking at this. I'm like, this is beautiful, beautiful. Look at this, baby. And I show her, and I look at the screen, and it says deleted.
Oh.
Deleted it all. And I started
Yeah.
crying. I'm like, I'm
the
pacing.
card
I'm
was formatted
freaking out.
itself. Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my God,
formatting.
everything that we filmed, all that I'm like getting through right now.
Because that was
It was just
about 4
looking,
days of
we
that.
tried so hard to get everything back to like go all these programs. We bought these programs, and none of it worked the same.
Recovery programs, yeah.
We ended up cutting our trip 2 or 3 days short, and we were able to go back and pretty much refilm everything.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, doing that, it was a lot better because we knew what we were getting ourselves into. We
Yeah.
knew the surroundings, the
Because sometimes you
atmosphere.
leave a place and you go, oh man, if I would have stepped over a foot for that shot, it would have been so much better. So we did get to do that, but like we had planned maybe a full week, because he's from Pittsburgh's family, you know, and some small things that weren't really that important, but like touristy, because I'd never been. And it was like, you know what, we're gonna redo it. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna cut our trip short by about 4 days to go back over to drive, because from Pittsburgh to Orlando, we basically had to cut it short to drive back home and hit everything on the way down, because it's about a 4-day drive, and then you stop to film, and that takes quite a long time too.
So-
And
To answer your question,
yes,
again, I'm going
Yes.
around. If you remember from the movie The Conjuring, there's a scene where Lorraine Warren, Vera Farmiga, is her name, she walks past the house. She goes through the house. She goes to the back, through the house, down the steps. And she looks up and she sees the witch Bathsheba hanging. And there's a shot where she's looking over what's known as the Black River, and it's just this pond, this like swampy area back there, and the water looks black. And I remember panning the shot, and I remember going, I got goosebumps. I was like, this is just freaking beautiful. I feel like I'm in the movie, the Conjuring. It looked so much like it. And out of everything that we shot that we lost, it was that shot that was going through my head, and that formatting, and I was so
Yeah.
happy that we went back and we got that, because
Yeah.
when we did, the second time around, the steel frames that they used to build that tree
The
were
base
still
was
there, as
Yeah.
well as the molds of like part of the
Plaster.
tree trunk, the plaster,
Mhm.
and the owner allowed us to take part of that tree home with us.
Cool.
So we have that in the Grimm Life Collective, which nobody has seen, and everybody says, please do a video of your house. One day it will. But everything happens for a reason, you know, and if something's beautiful and you lose it, you know, it just means something else is going to be coming that's even more beautiful.
Yeah, and I don't want to jinx it, knock on wood,
It's
but
not wood.
it's good enough. It will probably happen again in the future, and we can't
Yeah.
control that, but you got to make the best of it, and sometimes plans have absolutely gotten ruined, you know, or emergencies happen and you can't go and do that thing, even though you travel all the way to go there, you know, and it's like,
Sure.
okay, that's life, but this is not the end of the life, so I can obviously come back one day and do it better now that I know and had already planned it out and see where I'd gone wrong in the planning and come back and do it better. So there's always a chance to improve and hopefully not miss out on what's most important to you.
Good question.
Cool.
Which is my time with you.
Aw.
Yeah.
When did you get comfortable on the camera?
Never.
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 No.
Oh my God. Okay, so all right, don't do this. And for those of you who have, I'm sorry. Hopefully you were drunk or asleep. But if you go all the way back to the very first video I've ever made, it was in
Your car.
no,
Oh, not that one.
it was made in a cemetery in Atlanta, Georgia. I was living in Atlanta at the time, and I'm walking through the cemetery, and I was like, I want to do these daily vlog videos, you know, like telling my story, like my day. Like I had no plan. I just wanted to do something. And I think the highlight of that video is somehow I went on a rant about squirrels running up a tree. And to this day, I get so nervous about the
Squirrels?
camera. Well, the birds. I hate birds. Squirrels are fine, unless they give them wings. Then they're whole other creatures, and who wants to deal with them anyhow? But I get nervous every single time. So does
Yep.
she.
Yep.
And even more so when there's people around. And what's even more nerve-wracking is once you get past all that, of pointing a camera at yourself, and there's so many people watching you do it, and you're trying not to look like an idiot, because you know, you're talking to yourself for the most part, and then you edit everything and you put it all together and you're so happy with it and you're getting ready to hit publish.
They're all gonna laugh at you.
Yeah, and then it feels like that scene from Carrie. They're all going to laugh at you, Carrie. And it's like, do I do this? Do I not do this? Do I do this? Do I not do this? And then you do it,
And you're like, nobody's gonna care. They're just gonna laugh at me for it.
and then 1,000 people start commenting, and then you get these awesome comments, and then you get these horrible comments,
Oh, yeah.
and you never get over it. You never get over it. You hear so many people saying, don't read the comments. Well, we do, you know, because we love
Not
interacting
always.
with people.
Sometimes I gotta
Yeah.
shut it.
Sometimes there's so many that we can't read them all. We try,
Yeah.
but we do.
Yeah.
And you never get tired of it.
I'm just happy that we've upgraded our equipment to a point where you're literally not this far from my face with a lens, and I want to punch you.
So I used to like film her, I'm like, all right, say something.
God,
And then she'd say, no.
it is the worst thing you've ever done to me. I love you so much, but like, it's almost like it's made me angry. Honestly, for some reason, having a camera literally inches from my face made me want to be like, the fuck are you doing? Like, stop. Like, that's, I don't know, because the lens, you know, is so big and it looks like a giant eyeball, and you're like, why are you doing this? Yeah, yeah.
To answer your question, I need a shirt that says that. I'll answer your question tomorrow. No. You never really get over it. It becomes easier over time. It just, you kind of get into this motion, this,
But I think in a way we're
this
naturally shy
cadence, if
people
you
too.
will, you know?
I'm definitely,
yeah.
like, I'm very comfortable one-on-one or even like with a small group as long as I'm close to you. But if you put me like up here, like at the table, I'm just kind of like, I feel really strange, you know, like on a pedestal, which I don't like that. But I'm very comfortable being amongst people and I have no problem. But once it's a thing where you're essentially being watched, like you're the main focus, even though I guess I kind of am right now. But it's like you're so far away, and it's like, hello, how are you? That's when I get uncomfortable. But as long as I can like be shaking your hand or standing next to you and like giving you hugs and, you know, answering personal questions like that, I'm more in my element and very comfortable, you know. And that's why I think I get shy, is because when people are moving around so much, when you're by yourself, you're like, whatever, I'm an idiot, I'm gonna play and be whatever. But I think it's a little bit of just the judgment and the curiosity or puzzlement in people's eyes when they pass by and they're like, what the hell? It's like, it's fine, don't worry about it. Keep moving. Go away, please.
I have no shame.
Well, yeah, no, that's true.
Well, yeah, I mean, I see somebody like a famous person, whatever, and I'll be like, I'm gonna go
No
say hi.
shame. Oh, God.
I'm like, what's up? How you doing? You know, and I have this crazy thing that I've adapted in my life, that if I'm scared to do it, or if I say no, I can't do it, it's almost like
It's happening.
I have to now.
Yep.
You know, I can't go.
You dared
"Yeah,"
yourself
but-
now.
And it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
But I think because of that,
Oh, there he goes.
yeah. Yeah. Jesus. Okay. You're welcome.
Any other questions? Comments?
Just one comment real quick.
Go for it.
I just love seeing how your channel keeps growing. When the Tom Savini video came out, you had less than 100,000 subscribers at that
Oh,
time.
much less.
And it wasn't
Yes.
that long ago. Now you're almost at 200,000.
200.
And it's just going to blow up, bro. Both, that's
Never
just,
expected to get where we can still remember to this day, because I think it's the only thing we created like a little meme for, is when we hit 20,000. And that was probably around the time of Tom Savini. And we were like, oh my God,
Yeah.
we just hit 20,000 people. Like, that's nuts. And
Well,
it's still a big deal to me.
allow me to tell you some crazy tidbits of information about the Tom Savini video that
Go for it.
nobody really knows. It's behind the scenes stuff. That car ride driving up to him, where we were filming everything, we got to Pittsburgh and we lost everything. We were driving up to Pittsburgh and getting ready. We're excited about meeting Tom Savini, but just a couple weeks earlier, we did this video on the Hagrid's ride here at Universal. And that was our first video to hit the million view mark. And as we were driving, we were watching that count. It was just like, there's another 20,000, there's 100,000. The views were going up. We're like, what is going on here? And when we got to Pittsburgh, a friend of mine, a childhood friend, she's like, oh, look, like you guys are stars now because of this video. And I was like, what? No, and I looked at it, and it was just like, it kept growing, this one video. And that same night, that's whenever everything got deleted, formatted. But that Tom Savini video, there's two parts to it. There's his school, and then there's his private home. Sorry, excuse me. And when we got done doing the school, we like to do these things called Grimm interviews, where we basically ask like one question. But since we had him, we were going to interview him. Why the hell not, right? So we asked him, and we were asking him throughout the day, hey, do you have an answer to our Grimm interview? And then some more. No, not yet. He kept kind of brushing it off. Not because he didn't want to, but we were just so focused walking through the school and
He was
like,
very
talking
proud
about
of his school.
And at the very end, I still don't have anything, but I tell you what, I'm going to go to the pool, and then
The local swimming
the
pool.
local swimming pool. Like, can you imagine going to the pool in your hometown, and there's Tom Savini like laying out,
Yeah,
right?
Speedo. I don't know if he actually will or not. I'm just
I've seen him at a pool down here, and he usually wears,
a little Speedo.
and he hangs out there under the waterfall, relaxing. That's the
Love
best
it.
time to
He's
go.
so laid back.
Yeah.
And
So chill.
so he's like, give me a call in 2 hours. Here's my cell phone number. Come over to my house. I'll give you a tour. We'll do the interview there.
We're like, what?
Jaw hit the ground. I was like, what the heck
Beg your
is
pardon,
happening
sir?
here? Yeah. So he leaves and we leave. And not too far from his school in that's not Perryopolis. McKeesport? I guess McKeesport. Monessen. His school's in Monessen, Pennsylvania. The town next to that is the house that they used to film Buffalo Bill's scene from Silence of the Lambs. So we decided to just, in this meantime, let's go visit the house and do a video on that. So we did. And the whole time we're like, oh my God, I can't believe it just happened. We hung out with.
What do we say when we call him? I mean, how do we call him Mr. Savini? Do we just say, hey, Tom? I don't know how to talk to the man. Like, we're freaking out that we have to make this phone call.
Yeah, so it's a 45-minute drive from the Silence of the Lambs house to Tom's house. So we type in his GPS, his address. And I'm driving. I'm like, oh God, I have to call Tom Savini. What do I say? Like, we're freaking out. Like she said, do we call him, hi, Tom, Mr. Savini? How you doing? Tom Savini, maestro of horror. Like, what do you say, right?
Are you still up for that interview,
So,
sir?
At this point, I already have him programmed into my phone because he's my best friend. And I hit it, and it rings, and it rings. Each ring, I'm like freaking out. And he goes, hello? I went, hi, Tom. And he goes, who's this? And I went, the Grimm Life Collective. Who?
I'm like, oh no.
Like, no. But we just did an interview with you. He's like, oh yeah, you want to come over? And I'm like, he's like, yeah. I said, yeah, come on over, just ring the doorbell. And it was cool. It was cool. And then we get over there, and we decided to pretty much not turn off the camera the entire time. We just, no matter what happened, if he said, I need to go to the bathroom, and it was the most audible thing you ever heard in your life, so be it. We weren't turning off the camera, so we just kept recording. And truth be told, if you were part of the lucky few at the very beginning when this video first came out, there was another scene in this video that he asked us to remove. And we showed the outside of his house, which we were young, we shouldn't have done that. We didn't show the address.
Or the street or anything like that.
Of course, if you go online,
yeah.
you can find everything you want. But at his request, because he said a lot of people were watching it, and a lot of people were just going up and ringing his doorbell. And he travels a lot, so his wife is there by herself. So he said, please remove that. So we removed that. But we showed the outside of his house and what it looked like, and I'm not going to mention anything about that.
Right. I'll just say that it was very obvious that somebody of interest lived there. Like it didn't just look like another house, so people were doing, investigations and trying to look it up. It was very obvious someone.
I can imagine what his house would look like from the outside.
Imagine like walking down the street, there's like a white condo, black Victorian, white condo.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because, he lives in the house that he grew up in. His family owned it, and whenever they passed, he bought it. And then he bought the house behind it for his collection, and standing in his mask collection.
The garage.
The garage behind his workout room. Like there's these masks everywhere. And I looked back at that video and I watched it the other day in preparation, just being here to just kind of relive it. Seeing him just stand there like this and just looking at it all, like a little kid in a candy store. Like this is all his stuff, but just seeing that passion in his eyes is the reason he's who he is.
Yeah.
And
works at I don't remember what it is. It may have actually been for Corey Taylor.
yeah, that
He was working on
back.
Corey's mask over in the corner at his workbench. And he was very proud of that.
I'm sure this is not your first conventions. Some of you guys have been around the block. You hear horror stories that Tom is not one of the nicest people you could ever meet, or you hear all these things. For us, when we met him, Tom was like hanging out with your grandfather, telling stories about the war, which he did.
He did, yeah.
A lot of times whenever people are constantly on the road, I feel like we're pleasant people.
We try to be. Things go wrong. I left so much stuff at the house today in preparation for today. I left my badges. I left makeup, obvious necessities. So when I got here, I'm going, oh, by the way, these get in the way of everything. If you try to do anything with sleeves, y'all will know, I'm trying to put my makeup on, and I'm like, oh, God damn, I just got lipstick and I'm doing this, trying to get out of my way and stuff. And it's easy to be in a bad mood sometimes if things don't go well, so depending on, has anybody fed you yet, especially when you're on these panels or, having a long day, it's
jet lag is a thing.
So
People have bad days, but he's awesome. He's an amazing man.
He was like the most kind person. He was specifically very happy to introduce us to his cats.
Yeah.
He, no. If you go
That
on
is
and
the
just like,
picture of his dad.
let them smell your hair. They love to smell hair. And I'm like, pardon me? Okay.
We did turn the camera off at one point, and that was whenever he was talking about his dad, like when he shows the picture of it. And he was very fond of his family and talking about his family and how close they are. I've known his daughter for quite some time. We're not like best friends, just in passing growing up in Pittsburgh. And he's a very huge family man. And very proud of it. Huge. So it was pretty surreal. Lightning in a bottle kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Didn't expect that to happen.
No.
Like I said in the video at the very end, when I reached out to the school, I thought it was just going to be one room. You know, you walk in, here's a display case of Tom Savini's awards. And he's like, no.
Maybe a mask that he worked on at some point in a movie, something small, and we didn't even expect for him to give us a tour. They just said, hey, if he's around that day, we'll ask if he'll, show you a couple things. We're like just meeting him. We're like, oh my God, he's so amazing. And then we get this full-fledged tour all day long, and it's like,
There's one thing I wish I could have changed about the video, though. One thing. And again, this is a perfect example of how much, like, nothing we do is scripted. We might talk about or have a plan, but the majority of the time, whatever happens, happens. Like straight up Ed Wood, fake tombstones, whatever. The very, very beginning, and I'm really surprised he didn't ask us to redo it, is we're talking about how we're going to introduce him. And he decides to walk backwards up the steps, and he trips a little bit.
Oh,
and he
yeah.
stumbles. And I was like, I saw that, and I said, just keep going.
you don't want to draw attention to it because you don't want to, make them feel like they did something wrong.
And I didn't know if he would want to do it or not, but at the same exact time, I look at it and I'm like, it'd be really cool to just reshoot it, but at the same exact time, it's just real and in the moment.
Yeah, you don't want to give like
I think we just
dictation
left
to Tom Savini, the master of like all these films. It's like, oh, you stumbled there, sir. Let's start from the beginning.
It was, because at the same time, he's directed so many things.
You're just
He's
amazed at
been
being
in
his
so many things.
presence,
Like, what do you say? Tom, try that again.
Take two.
Yeah.
Take two. I need a little bit more oomph, right?
More cowbell.
No. But it was cool because as we're walking through, he would say things like, what do you think about this? Like, you tell me, do you want me to stand here? Is this lighting good? And I'm like, right? It's just, it was surreal. Never forget it. Never. So.
That's really cool. He seemed like he came across like he was very open and warm and.
He was, yeah.
Attitude.
He lives in that house every day, and yeah, he's showing us his collection, but off-camera stuff, especially if we stopped filming, like, we were introduced to his wife, who was cooking at the time, and he went on about some personal things, and just out of happiness of having somebody who loved what he did.
How many of you guys want to sit in his movie theater in his house and
Oh, yeah.
watch those tapes of his behind the scenes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the making of all those.
I want to know what's on there.
Yeah.
This is going to be like one of those lost footage things of, oh, you know what we found, after this great man passed away, his family decided to, donate things, and look at all this found footage from the behind the scenes of these massive films of the original, oh my God.
But at least we know they exist.
Yeah. It's just cases.
Jeez, man.
It was crazy because he's like, this is like Day of the Dead, tape 1, tape 2, tape 3, there's From Dusk to Dawn, there's Night Ride or something. What's going on here? Losing my mind. But yeah.
I can't even think about it. Like I just started obsessing about what could be on there and like wanting to see the behind the scenes, because how many of us has bought an edition of the film because there was behind the scene footage, bloopers,
Absolutely.
Stuff like that, or like an
Absolutely.
extended scene, especially. I was like,
Many times.
live for that stuff. I live for the behind the scenes, the movie magic of the creation and seeing how they did that. How did they do that? Yeah.
I have like 4 copies of Lord of the Rings because
Exactly. They keep
Yeah.
coming out with a new
So you
edition.
have to buy it again.
Yeah. God.
The thing I think about is we're all fans of horror. And I'm sure you've gone online and you've seen pictures posted on social media of Tom Savini with like the head of Fluffy. Behind the scenes photos that everybody posts around Tom Savini's birthday or Halloween or something like that. All this stuff. Him, those still images. After watching this, you know that there's video of that image moving in real life, of him interacting with these things. And someday, we'll see that, hopefully.
I think it'd be great if we ended up doing like a film just of my life, my work, and put those into it kind of a thing. Like,
I don't know how you'd be able to pick through all that.
just give us an 8-hour film and we'll be happy.
Right?
There's a lot there.
Yeah, make it like a Lord of the Rings trilogy thing, the times in life of Tom Savini, years blah 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 through blah 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 through blah blah blah, and they're each 4 hours long. We'd all buy it. Who wouldn't? We would all buy that. I would pay $200 for that. Or how, that would cost, but my God, we'd buy it anyway.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there.
You're watching this,
In case anyone's
Tom. Do it.
listening. They say sometimes when you put these out there, it happens. We're manifesting you, Tom.
He's got class.
Clays.
Some clay.
Some clays. Yeah.
Everything we do, we pick from movies. That's from the movie Vamp. So, have you ever seen the movie Vamp?
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene where, you've seen it?
I know it's too many movies, so yes.
There's a scene where he's standing at the podium to like the vampire strip club, and well, it's a strip club, but it's like, they're not all
Well, it's the
vampires,
umbrellas,
right?
yeah.
The little umbrellas in the glass, and he's like, they pull out the crickets and they put a little umbrella in there. It's like, we got class here.
We got clays.
So we do the little class.
It's a classy joint. Yeah.
Oh man.
I think for me, he stole the show of that whole movie, and I love her so much. Like, I've had a crush on her since I could walk, but that movie stole that man stole that movie, in my opinion.
That filming location video is coming soon too. Deep cut.
I want to find the room so badly, the dressing room, the dancer's dressing room,
Yeah.
because I swear to God, and I haven't gone back to look at it, but I think they used that in Blade Runner during the market scene. When she's running
I don't.
the snake
We'll take a
charmer, when
look at
she's
it.
running, I swear to God, and I don't know if this is true, but it really looks like it is, and we can't find it.
Well, no, if it is, we'll find it. We'll do it. Remember this.
Yeah. That's the stuff that yeah.
Anything else? Spooky.
Okay, I have a question, and it's for all of you.
Oh.
So you gotta think hard.
Oh.
What is everyone's favorite Grimm Life Collective episode?
This is like asking somebody, a horror fan.
Yeah, what's your favorite horror movie?
Which one don't you
so
like?
because we have gotten that question before, obviously a lot of times, especially in the chat, pick 3. If
That's
you
even
choose.
harder because they're all so good.
If you can shout one out, go for it. If you have to think on it, take your time.
I liked your semi-recent The Psycho filming locations. That was really the amount of research you put into that, and you still have people in the comments that are just idiots. Oh, that. You know,
yeah, we have plenty of people who are always like, that wasn't filmed there. And
Yeah,
it's like,
it's like
oh, it wasn't, yeah. I honestly want to, not even so much redo that video, I want to go back there again in the middle of summer because it was freezing. It was so cold and so windy, I was literally being knocked off my feet by gusts of wind, and it was so cold I had to sit in the car because I'm very sensitive to temperatures.
No, Psycho. You're talking about the birds.
Oh,
the Birds was good though too. That was also
I
too.
was like, wait a second. Desert. No, but yeah, it's the birds.
You know,
Bodega Bay.
your big epic ones
Yes.
like The Lost Boys and The Goonies, and those are all fantastic. But sometimes the little short 10, 15-minute ones that you do of just obscure things, those really are just, you can't see that anywhere else.
The
Yeah.
Goonies like almost brought tears to my eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing those locations and
that one took
Yeah.
about 3 days to film.
Yeah. We stayed an extra day just to make sure that we did everything that we wanted to do.
Talk about small scenes. We were trying so hard. The very opening of the movie, it's that police chase, right? We wanted to find every location that they were showing the kids in as the chase scene went by because they're all over the city. The one we could not find was with Data, where he falls into the barrel.
Yeah.
Could not find it. We spent hours driving around looking for specific window shapes in buildings and specific, because everything's changed quite a lot. There was a big fire that destroyed a lot of their downtown marina area.
It was the old cannery
Yeah, we
in
think
Astoria.
his
from what I
scene
can
was
tell.
near there, and it burned down, and it destroyed a lot of the surrounding buildings and stuff. So we're looking literally for a specific window
Yeah, it's in the background, like
that's in the
40 or
background
50
that we would
feet
be able
behind
to
them.
line up. And that's honestly a lot of sometimes of what we do is we're going, okay, I'm not sure because this is a generic, they purposefully cut this scene out so you don't see what's around it. So what you can see, and we've done this for a handful of movies where if you find a light post, they don't change those a lot, or a telephone pole, they will still have specific shapes and coverings from back in the 50s, back in the 60s and stuff like that, and it's still the same today. So a lot of times we have lined up a shot because it's like, nah, look at that lamppost, see the shape, see the way the wires are coming down, look the one behind it.
Psycho.
Yeah, we did that a lot in Psycho. We did that for Halloween 3, for the entering the city sign. Whole, like at least 6 videos off the top of my head, I know that we've gone, okay, well that lamppost, if you look at it, yeah, sometimes it really is hard.
And
Or-
I just watched the Karate Kid too, that you guys did.
That was so much fun.
That was one of my favorite.
Yeah.
The bike scene was funny.
I think you did pretty good on that.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
That was cold.
That was cold.
That was cold.
That was extremely cold. Yeah, but I mean,
It's just something special. I mean, like, someday, the kids today, I mean, I remember talking to people. I remember I before I did Grimm Life full time, I was a manager at an AutoZone here in Orlando, and I was doing that full time, and then doing this full time, trying to manage whatever. And I remember we'd get kids in, and we'd be talking, and I'd be visiting these places, and then filming and editing while on my breaks, and all these young kids would come up, like, "What are you working on?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. Let's say this didn't happen because it was filmed afterwards, but The Goonies." They're like, "Never seen the movie." It's like, wait, what? Who are you? What? Why? What? Who?
Well, I made sure my kids saw all those things. you know,
Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
But they have friends that have never seen, they don't even know what
yeah.
a lot of those older movies are.
I grew up in I grew up in a house that my mom doesn't like horror. She doesn't even really, she likes Halloween fine, but she's a Christmas mom. You know what I mean? She's one of those. So like even my dad didn't really grow up on it very much, and how I turned out the way I am, I don't know. So every time I found something, it was because I stumbled upon it or a friend knew it. But word of mouth is so important today, even still with the technology and the internet and being able to search things. Sometimes, I mean, they've been making movies since the beginning of time. How are you supposed to know every single one of them? And even the most popular one, we ran into a server somewhere named Sarah. And I was like, Sarah, friend? Because you can't not, Labyrinth. And she was like, oh, that's cute. And I was like, you don't know what that's from. And she said, no, I don't. I said, it's from The Labyrinth. And, oh, I've been meaning to watch it. I haven't never seen it. I was like, my God, how old are you? Because I thought she was older. And she's like, oh, I'm, mid to late 20s. And I was like, well, shit, you should have seen it by now.
Right.
Damn. And I was like, well, obviously you have to see it now because Sarah, her name is Sarah. You're a Sarah. You got to go watch it. Yeah. It's just mind-boggling. Sometimes your most favorite passionate film, when someone doesn't know it and you're like, sit down. We're going to have a chat. Let me tell you some stories about this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Life surprises you.
Yeah.
Life surprises you.
I'm still
To say the
finding out
least.
about movies. To my embarrassment, I did not.
Are you going to say what I'm going to say?
Jaws?
Oh, no.
Oh, what were you going to say? I'll tell mine first. You think about it.
No, you don't want me to tell yours.
There's some movies that are so popular that you think you've seen them all the way through. I thought I've seen Jaws. I thought, oh, of course I've seen Jaws. And he was telling me about a scene, and I'm going, that wasn't in that. He's like, yes, it was. I'm like, no. And then it dawned on me, I've seen so many clips of Jaws that I thought I've seen the whole movie, and I've never seen the whole movie until I was, last year?
Yeah.
I've never seen Jaws until last year. Because you see clips all the time, you know? It's like, And sometimes they're really long clips, and it's the most popular clips and stuff like that, I guess, but I'd never actually seen from start to finish Jaws.
You know the part where he says that some bad hat Harry?
Yeah.
You know, on the beach. There's actually a production company called like Bad Hat Harry. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that.
The best scene in the movie Jaws
Uh-huh.
is not even in the movie. It's the trombone scene. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
I feel like I should know that, like,
There's
really
a
talk about it.
trombone. Quint. It's in some versions, if you watch, there's some fan-made videos where they put deleted scenes in, and there's a scene where he's like harassing this little kid who's like practicing his instrument. I think
There's
it
the
is.
Laserdisc version
Is it?
of Jaws from way back when.
We have the
Freaking
Laserdisc.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I believe we have the Laserdisc of Jaws,
Mhm.
too, yeah.
It's in those deleted scenes, because I haven't seen it anywhere
Yeah.
else, and that's the one time I've seen it was in a movie.
Speaking of Laserdisc, because you're wearing a Halloween shirt,
Mm.
the Laserdisc of Halloween is a Criterion.
Yes.
There's a Criterion,
We found it.
and it's never been done again except for on Laserdisc. We found another movie that was Criterion on Laserdisc
Ghostbusters.
that never made it to Criterion on DVD or Blu-ray. We're like, why? Why wouldn't you? Are you waiting because of the money?
It
It's the distro rights, they lose them after a while.
Oh, do
That's what I
they?
thought.
Yeah, because, the new, Paul Warrenstein, Left for Frankenstein, Left for Dracula, they've been bought, new Blu-ray rights or 4K rights, depending, have been bought out by other companies. So some of them, they'll keep it up, like the ones completely, but
Yeah.
Those companies are assholes.
Tell them
I'm
to
gonna
suck
say
it.
right
Say
now.
that.
There's missing scenes from Goonies also.
Yeah.
Like the convenience store scene.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and the
yeah.
octopus scene.
Yep.
Yeah.
You see them on TV every once in a while, you know.
Yeah.
Different versions.
Harry Potter did that too. They'd play some of the movies on television, and you'd be like, that is not on the movie. That
Yeah.
wasn't in theater either. I've never seen this scene before. It's like, what, is that just a deleted scene that got left in? We don't know. I could never figure that out. I would love when they played Harry Potter on television because there'd be like 4 scenes you've never seen before.
It's like Halloween 1978, same thing,
They
on
do
TV.
that when they have television cuts for everything. It's weird now, but when you were younger, you noticed a lot more. But they do have television cuts with dubbing, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
they call in replacement scenes because they know there's gonna be a nudity scene taken out. So they know to put a little extra now, so they
Yeah.
add it in.
Those bastards. Boobies. Yeah. I really misjudged how deep this cut was today. Sorry, I keep going like this because I'm not sure if I'm popping out, and I'm like, dear God, please don't let me have a slip today because I don't know if I can handle that kind of. Speaking of embarrassment, what were you gonna say? What's my moment of just go for it?
I love you.
I love you too.
Jessica is very well versed in the horror universe.
Oh God.
And even more so after what
I
we
know it
do, she knows a lot about horror movies that most people don't because we do always do research. But it's the cutest thing in the entire world, and it kind of happened here when we were talking about Psycho and The Bird. She gets them mixed up. Occasionally, in talking, she somehow intertwines or flip-flops the names of Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers. She'll be talking about Michael Myers, but she'll call him Jason. And it's like, oh, no, we gotta stop, we gotta do it again. And it's the most innocent, cutest thing in the entire world. And then there's me, who gets so excited because I have no shame. I was downstairs doing an interview with Richard
Yesterday.
Brake. And I'm talking to him, I'm like, I'm standing here with Richard Drake. And he went, it's Brake. With a B and an R. Break. And I was like, because the dude's intimidating.
Yeah.
And he's skinny.
Yeah.
But like, he's intimidating.
He's
I
done
mean, it's the
these
freaking.
roles. He does really great villainy.
Like, I saw
roles, yeah.
31 flashing in front of him. I'm like, I'm gone, man. The whole time I'm saying, and he never quit. Because I'm like, I started again, and I'm like, you know.
You apologize.
He was in the
obviously.
movie Westworld. He was in all this stuff, and he's like, oh, great. Now he's going to rant off my film. I'm like, oh, crap.
He's like, well, if you're going to go through my IMDb, we're going to be here for a while. And it's
Yeah.
like,
I'm like, no. So I'm over there like shaking even more so. And then, yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Just gotta do it. don't say one day. Don't say someday. Just
Pick a
do it.
random
Do it.
date and
Pick
try
a
to stick
random
to
date
it.
and-
If you're
and
late,
stick
that's
to it.
okay.
Yeah, just keep moving forward. That's
We
the best.
picked July of next year for UK.
Yes.
Oh, that's
We
awesome.
want to get over the pond. Yeah. And we kept saying, yeah, one day, well, with everything happening, we'll see how things go. And it's like, no, what? No. What's a good month? July.
And that, yes, that entire trip is planned out.
Yes.
Planned out.
I really want to sometimes, and I don't think about it in the moment, but I'm going to try to start doing things like sharing your itineraries, because we have printouts.
Yeah.
We really should have like a binder or a folder when we're on the road, because our itinerary is to the minute. Driving distances, how long it'll take to film something. And it got to the point initially that we were trying to make our trip so worth it because of working a full-time job. We had such limited time. And it's like, well, gosh, I don't know when I'll get to come back out here because of my work schedule. I need to get this long list into 2 days. And we had packed it so full that that's when we started to notice you have to leave time for error, because what will go wrong, plus some. And that can change your demeanor of your experiencing of a location, or how quickly you shoot something. You might think it was fine, and then you're going, if I hadn't have been rushing it, I would have noticed that was just right there. That was a part of the movie, but I was focused on this,
Lost
that
Boys
sort of
number
thing.
3.
Yeah, yeah.
See, it's all goes back.
But
Folklore.
yeah, I mean, we just got to the point of, I guess, being in the habit of it now, that it's like, okay, well, if we think the filming should take about, out of experience now, about an hour to do this, let's give it an hour and a half, 2 hours before we're supposed to get back on the road to the next location, because sometimes we show up to something that someone just recently, let's say, took a picture of 3 months ago or something like that. We get there and it's gone. It's been demolished. Or now the gates are closed for some reason, or it's been closed, you can't go in. You know, there's always something popping up, and you have to learn to roll with it and not let it bother you, and just keep it going. It's like, you know what, okay, so hey guys, you might not know this, we didn't know this, but now it's closed, you can't do this anymore like you used to. And yeah, just because I think that's what's important to us, is that we want you guys to experience it just as we're experiencing it, because a lot of people can't get to these locations, whether it's mobility or distance or health, you know. But we also want you to go there and not be disappointed when you get there because of those catfish videos, you know,
Sadly,
like real experiences.
if you guys were leaving here today and went up to Astoria, Oregon to visit the Goonies filming locations, you're probably not going to get close to the house. Supposedly, we did not know this, that the week or so or month that we were there was like a sweet spot in life, because before that and almost immediately after that, the owner of that house and the people who live up there have shut down that street. So they don't like people walking up to their house
They don't do
anymore.
it all year long.
Yeah.
But we didn't know that either. We'd heard that it was closed off, so
We didn't
going
know.
there, we did not expect to get as close as we did. So yay, we were happy. And we had no idea that they closed it afterwards. People were letting us know that they're like, oh, when we were there before, it was closed, and you guys got to go, so we're going to go back. And they're like, nope, they closed it again. It's like, what? Give us a schedule, people. Yeah.
Do you guys remember the movie called The Witches? Roald Dahl, like Angelica used to. That visiting that hotel is one of the biggest things that we're excited about doing when we go to the UK. So, our plan, we have some friends that live in Newcastle. Don't know if you guys know the area, but our plan is to hop in a car, and we don't know how we didn't realize this, but you drive on the opposite end of the side of the road there, and
I
opposite end of the car.
forgot. I knew that, but I
So I don't know
forgot.
how we're going to do this, but we're going to do it because once we say we're going to do it, we do it. And our plan is to just kind of road trip throughout the entire month, kind of like what we're doing this Halloween season,
Yeah.
but in the UK, just visiting places,
Yeah.
anything and everything imaginable. So it should be rather trippy.
Very excited. Very, very excited. Hi. Welcome.
Hello.
Did anybody have another question? Or have you thought of your favorites yet?
The fog. When you did the
The
fog.
fog? That was fun.
Yeah.
I loved how, just like you said, you find the lamppost,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sitting there going, Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And the crazy thing about living in Los Angeles is the amount of movies that have been filmed there.
And in the same spots.
For instance, the opening scenes of The Fog, and I think I talked about this a little bit in the very
The
beginning. The opening scenes of the movie The Fog take place inside a country store. And that country store is in what's called Laurel Canyon. And Laurel Canyon Boulevard goes up through there. Directly behind that is where Pamela lived from The Doors, Jim Morrison's wife. I think they were married, wife.
Wife, yes, wife.
And that same country store that John Carpenter used is the same store that she lives on Love Street. There's a store there where creatures like to meet. That's about that store from the movie The Fog. And also, that's where Jennifer Aniston lived. She worked there for quite some time. Like, I mean, it's just mind-boggling, all this crazy stuff. But the Fog. Every time we visit a filming location video or any video, you often hear me say, "I wish we could take that home. I want that in our collection." That giant cross
Yes.
that somehow still exists to this day in the same exact spot.
Yeah, it's wood, isn't it?
One day it's going to be mine. Okay,
We know nothing.
I'll reach out to them. I'll be like, "Give it to me. Cut it down. Give it to me. You're going to replace it. I want it. It's going to go in our living room
That's fine.
behind our TV." Lights.
I'm perfectly fine with that, yeah.
There's so many people that came in. Are we close to our time, or is there something else starting, or are you just you guys like our show?
We love your show.
Oh shoot!
Yeah.
Well, hello. We just kind of been like talking earlier. They played the Tom Savini video, and which you might have seen, possibly, hopefully. If not, you need to watch it. It's fun. And then we're just kind of
Are
like,
we gonna need to use a microphone?
does that make it easier?
Whatever comfortable for you.
Oh,
You
hi.
can come closer if you
I
want.
feel like I really have to be right up on it, and
This is so
like, I feel like as soon as I take away from my face, there's gonna be like lipstick all over it. I'm like really self-conscious about it. I feel like I have to.
Mine doesn't work.
Are they all having a problem?
No, it's good. It's
Oh, you have to
good.
put it up. Oh,
We're
you
just
put your
having
lipstick.
fun. We're just having fun.
Karaoke hour with Michael and Jessica.
Oh God, you do not want me to do karaoke. We were at Old Town the other day, and there was they have karaoke there. Have fun with that one.
Is it anybody's birthday?
Dogs do that. No.
Happy birthday, we're so glad you came.
It's nobody's birthday.
Happy birthday from the Grimm Life Gang. Hey!
Honk, honk. Is there anything else you guys would like to know about?
Well, how did you choose the opening music for your channel?
Okay. For some
That's
reason,
all him.
I
It's
keep
very catchy,
forgetting
though,
that
really.
word. Okay, so in Los Angeles, there's the Queen Mary, and up until a couple years ago, they had a festival called Ink and Iron, which was like a music festival and kind of thing. It was
Car
very
show.
big, a car show.
Yeah.
And then the promoters decided to do this great thing about having an Ink and Iron festival, but on the other side of the country in Nashville, Tennessee. And what was really cool, they decided to theme it. So it was like country and rockabilly and psychobilly, and it was the first year and it flopped. Nobody cared two craps about it. The headliner was Merle Haggard, and he was supposed to be there every night. After the first night, he dipped out. He was like, "I'm not doing this, it's not worth my time." I got to see Merle Haggard, it was phenomenal. But on one of the stages, there was a psychobilly band that I absolutely love called Batmobile. Big fans for years.
From Finland?
Yeah, I think they're from Finland. Are they from Finland?
Sweden?
Yeah,
Something like that, yeah.
Over the seas. So afterwards, I no shame, walked up to Jerwin Hamers. It's Hamers, not Hammers. Jerwin, I think it's Jerwin. And I was like, "I'd love to interview you. Big fan. I do this thing called Grimm Life. Love your song Calamity Man. I'd love to use it as a theme song." We hit it off. He was like, "Hell yeah, use it. Any way that you want. Love your idea. Go with it." It's changed so much that you kind of have to really listen to it, but it's still there, but that's how it came to be. Like from the man himself, the guy who wrote the song in Nashville, Tennessee. That's when I met him.
Awesome. Cool.
So I know you guys are just joining us, but we're taking questions. It doesn't have to be about the video that showed here today. So if you have any comments or questions, you are more than welcome to shout them out because we are long-winded.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So do you all plan on doing a Halloween Kills film location?
Yes. Yes. It's probably going to take a little bit to do it.
Yeah.
We're really horrible about going, okay, this anniversary is coming up or this movie's coming out. Let's go jump on that bandwagon and get it out there so it becomes really popular.
So that it's relevant now.
Yeah, we're really
Not
horrible at that.
forgotten.
It'll happen at some point,
Yeah.
probably after most things die down. And what's going to happen is the movie's going to come out, and everybody who's anybody who has a camera is going to go and do the filming location video, and it's going to be flooded. And that's perfectly fine, because I'm going to watch every one of those videos, and I'm going to drool. So I'm excited about that. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was filmed in North Carolina, Wilmington. I'm excited about filming that. But there's actually something else in that area that I'm even more excited about filming, even though I'm a huge Halloween fan. Because that's also where they filmed The Crow.
Oh, yeah.
And there's not much when it comes to that location, but the warehouse where they had the big gun scene and My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult was
I believe
playing,
that's where he died.
that's all still there.
Yeah.
So when we do that video, when you start seeing Halloween Kills pop around, I guarantee you there's going to be a Crow filming location video coming too.
And I just have to say really quickly, speaking of the Crow, Baleen is in the building.
Yeah.
Like,
And at 3 o'clock, she's doing a in-costume photo op
Oh, wow.
with the red hood and everything, so.
I've already told her I love her. I already fought her a little bit, but like we're gonna do the photo op. I'm gonna be like,
Hi. I love you. Okay, get closer pictures.
yeah, so excited. So I'm like, ugh, yeah. But for Halloween Kills, I'm interested if they reuse the house. Because technically, he's trapped in the basement.
I think they did, or they built it somewhere.
So we did a video on the first Halloween, and we found the house. We go inside the house, and I'm just really curious because when we were there, you could see how they used the pyrotechnics on the building. Everything was scorched. I mean, I could take pieces of it home if I wanted to. So I'm actually, if we could talk to the owners again and get on the property, I would love to see the state of it now.
Spend the night in the house.
Like black and charred.
Too many
and
bees,
like,
hornets.
Yeah.
oh God, yeah. There was a room that was nothing but hornets, massive nests. They didn't bother us. They won't unless like you kind of bother them. But I don't suggest going to that one because of the bugs. Yeah. I think, is our time up?
And
Our
with
time
that-
is up. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
This has been
Thanks to you. Awesome.
It means the world to us that you all showed up and you got to listen to us rant and rave about crazy stuff and watch our show. Can I keep these?
They're not mine, so I don't know
I can
whose
keep
they
them
are.
then.
Someone will probably
You know
want
his
them,
name's
but not
on,
me.
so,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank
I
you.
forgot my mask and my purse.
Yeah.
I'm too nervous about my unsecured dress.
Wait for you to get off the stage before turning off lights. I think
Okay,
that
I'm
might
good.
be a little-
As long as I'm standing, it's fine, but like sitting down, I'm just kind of like.
Yeah, you want to do a quick photo, yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna do a quick little video of you guys, and if you can, I just want you to say like Happy Halloween. 'Cause that's one of the things we love
Like
saying.
count, like 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
Happy
You
Halloween.
get down over in there, Jessica.
I gotta be with you guys.
And this will be, so we're doing videos obviously of all this stuff, so this is gonna go in here as like a little bookend. You guys ready? All right, I'll tell you when, okay?
I'm the spooky hand.
You're spooky here. And that was quite an experience. The Tom Savini video, and these fine folks showing up to just kind of do a little Q&A here at Fantasm Orlando. Thank you guys, and as always, Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween!
I always like to do sound effects. And my favorite thing to do is when we take pictures with you guys, I'll try to throw people off. I'm like, okay, 1, 2, 3, we're ready to